What is the secret to success? It is not money. It is not connections. It is not luck. It is a state of being, a powerful internal harmony that few cultivate and even fewer master. The secret to success is to stay calm in the face of pressure, confident in the presence of adversity, and focused amidst 1,000 distractions. These are not mere qualities, they are powers. And once you harness them, no obstacle can stand against you. You must understand that success begins inside. Long before you earn your first dollar, long before you sign your first deal, long before the world applauds you, you must command your inner world. A man ruled by chaos within will always create chaos without. But a man who masters his calm becomes the master of his fate. Do not let the noise of the world invade your peace. Do not let the opinions of others disrupt your mission. Stay calm, not because the world is peaceful, but because you have made yourself so. The calm man is not passive, he is powerful. He is still but not stagnant. His stillness is deliberate. His silence is strength. He does not rush, for he knows that timing belongs to those who prepare. He does not panic, for he trusts in the law of cause and effect. He plants, he waters, and he waits. The world calls it patience. He calls it discipline. Confidence is not arrogance. It is certainty born of preparation. You cannot fake true confidence. It comes from doing the work no one sees, from winning private battles no one applauds. When you rise early to train your mind, when you refuse the temptations that derail weaker men, when you hold yourself to a higher standard, confidence becomes your natural state. It is not spoken, it is felt. Others can sense it, and they will follow it. But confidence does not arrive by accident. It is forged in fire, the fire of rejection, the fire of failure, the fire of fatigue. And it is there, when you are broken and tired and doubting yourself, that you have a choice. Will you crumble or will you rise? Will you quit or will you command yourself to keep going? The successful man whispers to himself in the dark, "This is not the end, this is the beginning." He does not wait for approval. He does not seek validation. His confidence is not dependent, it is internal, immovable, unshakable. Now let us speak of focus, that rare and sacred discipline that separates the amateur from the master. In a world of distraction, the man who focuses becomes the man who dominates. He knows that his attention is his greatest asset. He does not scatter it. He does not give it to every notification, every opinion, every crisis that begs for his reaction. He protects his mind like a fortress. He guards his time like gold. The focused man is misunderstood. He is called cold, ruthless, obsessed. Let them talk, let them guess. While they talk, he works. While they guess, he builds. Focus is the ability to say no, not just to bad things, but to good things that are not the best things. It is the discipline to lock onto your purpose and pursue it with relentless clarity. It is the art of ignoring what does not serve your destiny. But you will be tempted to drift. You will be lured by ease. You will be distracted by the noise of other people's lives. That is the test. The man who wins is not the man who has the fewest distractions. It is the man who conquers them. He hears the noise, but he does not listen. He sees the crowd, but he does not follow. He feels the pressure, but he does not fold. Staying calm, confident, and focused is not a once-in-a-while event. It is a way of living, it is a practice, a devotion, and it is tested not when things are easy, but when they are hard. Anyone can be calm when life is smooth. Anyone can be confident when they are winning. Anyone can focus when they are inspired. But the master trains himself to remain steady in the storm. That is where greatness is forged, not in the light, but in the dark. Do not chase motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls like the wind. What you need is resolve. What you need is command over yourself. The calm man does not rely on feeling ready. He acts because it is his duty. The confident man does not wait for applause. He moves in silence. The focused man does not need to be entertained. He is obsessed with his mission. And let me tell you this, the man who can control himself becomes invincible. Control your thoughts, and you control your emotions. Control your emotions, and you control your actions. Control your actions, and you control your results. Most men live on the surface. They react. They blame. They complain. But you must go deeper. You must live from the inside out. That is where power lives. Every day, you are presented with two choices, reaction or response. The reactive man gives his power away. The responsive man claims it. The reactive man is tossed by every wave. The responsive man becomes the captain of his ship. Learn to respond with intention. Pause before you act. Breathe before you speak. Think before you move. That is how you stay calm. That is how you remain centered in the chaos. Your mind is a garden. If you do not plant discipline, weeds will grow. Doubt will grow. Fear will grow. You must cultivate your mind daily. Feed it truth. Feed it vision. Feed it purpose. Do not wait until the crisis to start practicing peace. Build your inner world now so when the outer world shakes, you do not. You must believe in yourself with such intensity that nothing can sway you. You must become so focused on your path that you no longer notice the critics. They will call you stubborn. They will say you've changed. Let them talk. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. And legends are not built on comfort. They are built on conviction. You must carry yourself like the man you intend to become, even before you are him. Speak with his strength. Move with his certainty. Think with his discipline. That is not delusion, that is vision. You do not rise by accident, you rise by design. So design your thoughts. Design your words. Design your days. And over time, success will have no choice but to obey your design. There is power in repetition. Every time you choose calm over panic, you become stronger. Every time you choose confidence over doubt, you become bolder. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you become sharper. These small moments build you. And over time, they turn you into a weapon. Not one of destruction, but one of domination, of mastery, of greatness. So hold the line. When your emotions rage, hold the line. When fear creeps in, hold the line. When everything in you screams to quit, to rest, to give in, hold the line, because if you do, something powerful happens. You earn your own respect. You look in the mirror and you see a man of honor, a man of grit, a man who does what he said he would do. That is the reward. That is the glory. Success is not a destination. It is a state, a way of being, a rhythm you choose. So move like a winner. Think like a king. Focus like a warrior. Speak like a leader. And stand like a pillar, unmoved by winds, unbroken by storms, unbothered by doubt. The man who stays calm in chaos becomes the one others lean on. The man who remains confident when others retreat becomes the one others follow. The man who stays focused when others scatter becomes the one others remember. Be that man. The man who stays calm while others panic, who holds steady while others sway, who maintains clarity while the fog of confusion surrounds him, he is the one who rises. It is not strength that separates him. It is not luck. It is the ability to discipline the mind in moments where emotions would otherwise hijack the spirit. Calmness is not weakness. It is control. And control is the beginning of all mastery. But to maintain calm, you must master fear. You must understand that fear is nothing but a state of mind. It is not the event. It is not the outcome. It is your imagination poisoned by doubt. Fear cannot live in a mind that is focused. Fear cannot take root in a soul that has claimed faith. And so I say to you now, every time you stay calm in adversity, you are teaching your subconscious that you are the authority, that you are the captain, that you are not a slave to panic, but a master of purpose. Now let me show you something more. It is not enough to be calm. You must be confident. Calmness is your foundation, but confidence is your force. Confidence is not arrogance. It is not loud. It does not need to shout or wave its arms. Confidence is quiet. It is a deep knowing, a spiritual certainty, a conviction that even if you do not yet have the answer, you will find it. Even if the door is closed, you will build your own. Confidence is the result of two things: preparation and belief. When you prepare thoroughly, your confidence grows automatically. The man who knows he has done the work walks differently. He speaks differently. He does not need applause to feel secure. He knows what he has built in the dark. That is why consistent action builds self-trust. Every task you complete, especially when you don't feel like it, builds an internal library of self-faith. And it is this library you draw from when your back is against the wall. Belief, on the other hand, is your decision to expect success. Not hope for it, not wish for it, expect it. To expect something is to prepare for it, to align your words, thoughts, and actions with its arrival. That is the essence of faith. When you move in faith, you no longer speak as one who is begging life for results. You speak as one who already sees the result and is simply walking toward it. But belief must be guarded. Your confidence will be attacked, not by enemies, but by doubts, by delays, by silence. You will wonder, is it working? You will hear others succeed faster, louder, flashier. And that is when your focus must become steel. That is when you must say, let them run fast, I will run far. Because the man who wins is not the one who explodes first, but the one who endures last. And endurance requires focus. Focus is the weapon most neglected by average men. They scatter their power. They chase 100 things. They never go deep. They never complete. And so they never feel the fullness of their power. But you are not average. You are to become a force. And a force cannot be divided. You must train your mind to hold one vision, to pursue one target, to commit to one goal without distraction. That is how you build momentum. That is how you build excellence. Now let me ask you, what steals your focus? What whispers, this won't work, when your goal is within reach? What voices inside you say, try something else, just when you are beginning to gain traction? These are not voices of wisdom. They are ghosts of fear, and they must be silenced. You silence them by movement, by progress, by execution. Every time you act in alignment with your purpose, your focus sharpens. Every time you complete what you start, your power multiplies. You must understand, the secret to success is not found in dramatic breakthroughs. It is found in small, consistent victories, won by a mind that refuses to quit, a heart that refuses to fear, and a spirit that refuses to drift. The moment you lose focus, you begin to drift. And drift is the death of destiny. Drift steals your time. Drift fogs your vision. Drift makes a man look busy but accomplish nothing. And the only way to defeat drift is to decide. You decide what matters. You decide who you are. You decide what you will ignore, what you will delay, and what you will absolutely pursue with full force. Without decision, there can be no direction. And without direction, focus dies. And when focus dies, success becomes impossible. So discipline your focus. Train it like a muscle. Focus on what you want, not what you fear. Focus on what you are building, not what others are doing. Focus on what is true, not what is trending. And when you do this long enough, your life becomes aligned. Your results begin to reflect your purpose. Your reputation begins to echo your integrity, and your success becomes a matter of inevitability, not by chance, but by law. Now, some of you ask, how do I stay focused when everything around me is chaos? And I say to you, that is precisely the time to anchor down. Anyone can focus when things are easy, but the warrior focuses when the world is shaking. He narrows his gaze. He deepens his breath. He simplifies his task. He does the next right thing. And then the next, until the storm passes. And it always passes. You must remember, the calm, confident, and focused man is not a myth. He is not a gift of genetics. He is a product of decision. He is a man who has learned to command his internal world regardless of the external. He is not easily moved because he has trained himself to be still. He is not easily discouraged because he has trained himself to believe. He is not easily distracted because he has trained himself to commit. And so, if you truly desire success, not temporary success, not noisy success, but eternal, unshakable, legacy-level success, then these three traits must become your core: calmness, confidence, and focus. You must practice them daily. You must protect them fiercely. You must reinforce them with repetition until they are no longer traits you visit, but identities you live. Every morning you rise, affirm who you are. Say, I am calm because I trust the process. I am confident because I trust my preparation. I am focused because I trust my decision. And repeat this not as a lines, but as a declaration. Not as a wish, but as a fact. Because when you speak this way, you instruct your subconscious. And the subconscious never argues. It simply obeys. And once the subconscious is convinced, your behavior becomes automatic. You no longer wrestle with doubt. You no longer negotiate with your fears. You become decisive, efficient, relentless. And that, my friend, is the formula for greatness. The world will test your calm. It will test your confidence. It will test your focus. But these are not weaknesses to be protected. They are strengths to be proven. You prove them by use. You prove them by pressure. You prove them by walking through the fire with your head high, your eyes clear, and your pace unshaken. Success is not reserved for the fortunate. It is reserved for the faithful. For the few who do not just hope, but persist. Who do not just start, but finish. Who do not just speak, but show. And I believe you are one of those few. That is why you are here. That is why you are listening. Because something inside you is calling for more. Something inside you is ready to claim what you have always known was possible. But it will not be given. It must be earned. With discipline, with resilience, with a refusal to be distracted, discouraged, or delayed. And if you can hold your peace in chaos, hold your belief in silence, and hold your gaze on the goal, then you will reach it. And not just reach it, you will rise above it. Because you didn't panic when others did. You didn't quit when others would. You didn't drift when distraction begged. You stayed calm. You stood tall. You stayed focused. And that is what made all the difference. The final piece, the secret you've been inching toward, is this. No matter how intense the storm around you may rage, no matter how loud the world may become, you must be the calm within it. You must be the steady center, the unwavering soul who does not flinch, does not fold, does not falter. That is the man who wins, not the man who shouts the loudest, but the one who hears the whisper of his purpose above all noise. Success doesn't shout, it whispers. And it only whispers to those who are quiet enough inside to hear it. You must stay calm, not as a passive act, but as a posture of power. The man who is calm under pressure is the man who holds the reins of his mind. His emotions do not govern him, his principles do. His response is measured not by panic, but by preparation. He is not thrown off course by delays, by failures, or by critics, because he has already decided where he's going. And no one can distract a man who is already certain. Staying calm is the discipline of kings. It means you do not allow temporary circumstances to rob you of long-term vision. It means you breathe when others break. It means you slow down your thoughts even when your surroundings speed up. Calmness is not indifference, it is control. And control is the soil where all achievement grows. But calmness alone is not enough. You must also be confident, not arrogant, but deeply assured in your ability to figure it out, to press forward, to rise no matter how often you fall. Confidence is not born from applause. It is born from alignment. When your actions match your values, when your thoughts match your mission, you begin to trust yourself. And that trust becomes confidence. You say, I will not quit. I will not be shaken. I will not be small. Because you know who you are. And more importantly, you know who you are becoming. Confidence is forged through resistance. It is built when you take action while afraid. When you walk into the unknown and realize the fear was louder than the reality. When you fail and you don't die. When you're embarrassed and you keep going anyway. Every time you act in spite of insecurity, you chip away at its power until one day it crumbles. And you are left standing, not perfect, but powerful, not immune to doubt, but greater than it. Confidence comes not from being the best, but from doing your best. From showing up when it's inconvenient, from saying yes to discipline and no to distraction, from being a man who honors his own word. And when you live that way, day in, day out, you begin to walk differently. You begin to speak with more weight. You don't ask for respect, you carry it with you. And now comes the final thread in this triad: focus. The capacity to lock in on one objective and refuse to let go. The ability to eliminate what does not matter and pour your whole soul into what does. The man who is focused is a rare man, because the world will offer you 100 paths to nowhere. Distraction is not a mistake. It is a strategy. It is the invisible enemy that destroys greatness not by attacking it, but by spreading it too thin. Focus is the sword that cuts through noise. It is the discipline to say, not this, not that, only this. And the more you train that discipline, the sharper your life becomes. The more clear your mission, the more ruthless your clarity. And in a world full of drifting, vague, and scattered minds, clarity becomes power. Because when you know what you want, and you're willing to give everything for it, you become untouchable. But let me warn you, there will always be an easier path, a quicker exit, a shortcut that promises more comfort and less effort. And that is the test. That is where most men lose. They trade long-term success for short-term convenience. They sacrifice their future for present comfort. And they do it quietly, with reasonable-sounding excuses. They say, I'll come back to it later, not realizing later never comes. They say, I'm just overwhelmed, when what they really mean is, I'm undisciplined. Do not be that man. Be the man who keeps going. Be the man who wakes up and honors his craft, who stares down temptation and says, number, who holds the line even when it feels impossible. Because every time you hold the line, you grow. You build muscle, mental, emotional, spiritual. And that muscle becomes strength. And that strength becomes momentum. And that momentum becomes destiny. You must train your mind to reject distraction like poison. Every moment you waste is a seed you failed to plant. Every hour you surrender is a brick you forgot to lay. And if you miss enough bricks, the wall will not hold. But if you lay them every day, calmly, confidently, focused, you will build something no storm can tear down. Your success does not need to be flashy. It does not need to be loud. It needs to be consistent. The man who builds quietly builds forever. He does not look for validation. He creates value. He does not seek attention. He demands results. And in time, the world takes notice not because he shouted, but because he endured, because he kept going. You must become that man. The man who shows up not because he feels like it, but because he is it. The man who stays calm when others panic, because he prepared when others played. The man who walks into every day like a warrior, not frantic but focused, not reactive but resolute. Because make no mistake, your dreams will test you. They will ask, do you really want this? And they will not accept your words. They will demand your behavior. They will wait to see if you show up when it's hard, if you stay true when it's lonely, if you push forward when there is no applause. And only those who answer with action will be allowed through the gate. So I tell you this, don't just dream, decide. Don't just plan, proceed. Don't just hope, move. Let your life be a testament to what happens when a man chooses calm over chaos, confidence over insecurity, focus over fragmentation. Let your life prove that discipline is greater than motivation, that commitment is louder than emotion, and that purpose, when truly possessed, makes all obstacles irrelevant. You are closer than you think. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is made up of small, ordinary days. And how you live those days, how you wake up, how you move, how you respond, that is what determines everything. Not one grand moment, not one lucky break, but thousands of unseen, unfelt, uncelebrated choices. Stack them, own them, master them. And when you do, you will look back not with regret, but with reverence. You will say, I built this. I earned this. I did not quit when I wanted to. I did not bow to fear. I chose to stay calm. I chose to believe. I chose to focus. And that choice, repeated over and over, became your superpower. Because the secret to success is not locked in a book or buried in a podcast or waiting in the hands of another man. It is already inside you, waiting for activation, waiting for consistency, waiting for you to stop questioning and start becoming. And becoming starts now. It starts the moment you say, this is who I am, this is what I do. No more drifting, no more excuses, no more delay. You make the decision, you honor the decision, and you don't stop. You walk like it. You talk like it. You move like it. Because when you do, life moves too. You were not born for mediocrity. You were not designed for average. You were built for impact, for greatness, for legacy. But legacy doesn't fall in your lap. It is carved by the man who shows up and stays calm when the world goes wild, who believes in himself when there's no evidence he should, who locks in on his path and lets nothing pull him away. That is your charge. That is your call. That is the price of success. Pay it daily. And one day you realize you didn't just chase success. You became it.